Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the distance between points on the coordinate plane. So I'm going to start with a quick example. I know a lot of you like to just count from point to point, which honestly I think is a really great way for you to do it. So I went ahead and put point A and point B here on just kind of my dot grid that I have. So you're starting at point A. So imagine if you were trying to find the distance from your house to Kroger, right? If you're starting at your house, you know that you haven't gone anywhere, right? You've gone 0 miles. You haven't gone to Kroger. Okay, so same here. When I put my pencil down at A, I'm not counting 1 because I haven't gone anywhere, right? That's just where I'm starting. So I'm going to start counting from A. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So when I end up at B, that puts me at 16 units. Be very careful that when you that you don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, and etc. Because it's not going to work. Because really what you're doing is you're counting the distance between the points, not the points themselves. So you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So count the distances between each of the points. Okay, so now if we put it on the coordinate plane, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to start at this pink point, and we're going to go to the purple point. So just like before, if I start at pink, right, this is my starting point. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8 units. The other way that you could think of this is we used absolute value in module 3. So for example, we said, well, how many is it from one to the other? Well, if I'm moving side to side, right, that means that my x is changing. Well, I see here that at my pink point, right, x is 5. And I see that at my purple point, my x is 13. So because they're in the same quadrant, right, it's like I'm saying the distance from 13 is really the distance from purple to the y-axis, right? And this is the distance from pink to the y-axis. So if I want this total distance, and if I were to take away that smaller distance here, right, then that leaves me with just that distance is what I'm trying to find. So in this case, I really need to subtract, and I'm going to use absolute value for that. So I'm going to say the absolute value of 13 minus the absolute value of 5. Okay, I know that absolute value always makes it positive. So the absolute value of 13 is 13. The absolute value of 5 is 5. And I know that 13 minus 5 is 8. Okay, so you're subtracting the absolute values when they're in the same quadrant. And we're going to see what it looks like when we're in different quadrants. So again, we're starting at our pink point. So I'm starting here at pink. If I put my pencil down, I can start counting the distances 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they are 6 units apart if I were to count. I am going to show you what the absolute value looks like also. So now since I'm moving up and down, I want to look at my y values. So we can see that here, my y value is 4. And for the orange, my y value is -2. Now, they are in different quadrants. So again, remember, this is like from pink to the x-axis, right? Because I'm looking at my y's, from pink to the x-axis and from orange to the x-axis. Well, if I want this length and that length to make my total length, then I actually need to add them. So when the points are in different quadrants, we're going to add the absolute values. So I can have the absolute value of 4 plus the absolute value of -2 is going to tell me that distance. So 4, the absolute value of 4 is just 4. It makes it positive. Plus the absolute value of -2, now it's going to be positive to be positive 2. Well, I know that 4 plus 2 is 6. So either way, you should get 6 units. So I want you to pause your video, and I want you to tell me, and I'll zoom in a little, what's the distance from A to B? You can use either method. And if you're finished, hopefully you see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units from counting. Or if you did absolute value, you see that we are moving side to side, so I need to use my x values, which is -3 and 2. They are in different quadrants, so I'm going to add them. The absolute value of -3 plus the absolute value of 2. This gives me 3 plus 2, which is 5. Same thing. Okay, let me know if you have any questions.